Hey, everybody. So, good evening from Northern England. Hope you're doing well. Not sure how to see who's joining on anything other than Instagram. Uh, uh, and I'm not sure how to get chats from non-Instagram yet. So, I'll figure it out sometime. So, good evening. Welcome. I'm Rod Gamble. I am Career Coach Rod, and I've been in digital health for about 25 years. I've traveled the world multiple times, all over the globe, all on the back of digital health. I got people to pay for my travel. I got to travel fun places, and I got paid plenty of money while I was doing it. I do these lives once a week to pick out individual topics, things that are changing inside of digital health. And this week on my blog, I've got a reality check for making over 100,000 a year, working remotely, working in digital health, and some of the stuff that's come out this week, some of the things that have happened with me and my client, and that is what I'm going to be talking about. So um, drop a like or something in the comment if you're ready if you're ready to talk about real money in digital health, because some of this was just mind blowing for me. I didn't actually believe it was real. People said it was real, but it's always a friend of a friend, some person you don't know, right? So this week, something incredible happened. One of my clients started her new digital health job at Daedalus, a digital health company. And guess what? She's earning double what she made as a bedside nurse. Poof, it's done. She started Monday. This is coming up on the end of her first week. It is a dream job. She's getting a little bit of training this week, and then she'll be full time remote. But here's the crazy part. She met one of my other colleagues and friends, lives actually pretty close by. She met him there on the same day. He was also starting with the same batch of new recruits, right? So, two professionals, same company, same week. It's not a coincidence. This is a movement. This is how things are going for everyone. And tonight, I'm going to show you exactly why clinical professionals are commanding premium salaries in digital health and why companies are literally fighting over people like you. So it's important to not underestimate your worth. It's easy to underestimate your worth when you're at the bedside, and so is everyone else, and everyone's just like you, and they tell you when you can work, and you usually don't get a bathroom break. It's easy to lose track. It's easy to lose focus. But in reality, your value is tremendous. So here's the math. Let's talk some numbers. Bedside nursing here in the UK, that's 25K, maybe less, maybe up to 30K per year. That's in pounds. And stateside, maybe 50, 60, 70 for most of us. My client at Daedalus, she's earning double that. She's earning double what she used to make at the bedside as a nurse, and she's at the bottom of a much bigger ladder, right? And Daedalus, where she's working, it isn't one of the giant tech companies. This is one of the smaller players. This is one of the UK specific players. They do a really good job in this market, and I think they're going to move out into some of the other Western Europe kind of markets. So, but it isn't just about money. It's about financial freedom. It's about not choosing between paying bills and taking your family out on holiday, right? It's about freedom that you get with a little bit more money and a little bit more ability to choose. Here's the magic moment for me. I had been working for one of the big companies. I quit there after I was promised a promotion, and I got the promotion, and they took it away, and it was frustrating. And eventually, I went out on my own as a freelancer, and I got paid my first invoice that I had billed for $95 an hour. And I remember sending off the invoice thinking, oh, dear God, this is going to be some kind of problem. Someone's going to see this and think that it's ridiculous, blah, 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 blah. Nope. It's about 15K for that first month worth of work, and poof. They were eager to have me back for the next month and the month after that and the month after that. It was, a year and a half long run of working in this job where I was highly prized, highly valued, and getting paid with what for me was a life-changing amount of money. And so I had the experience where I was living in Albuquerque at the time, and I walked into one of the fancy stores and I thought, I can buy anything in here. I mean, for the first time in my life, I can buy anything in this shop, which is something I thought I would want to do should I ever make, real money. But once I was able to, I suddenly didn't want any of those things anymore. I'd found my worth. It changed my life. So I did what smart people do with that money, and I invested it and got myself free of debt and that sort of thing. But here's another geographic sort of game changer. In this post-COVID world that we're working in, lots of people work remote, they work hybrid. They don't have to do what I did a lot of my digital health career, which was fly somewhere on Monday, work, and then fly back home on Thursday. No, they go into the office every 3 months, every 2 months, every 6 months, something like that, depending on the job and the particular client. Or they don't go in at all. They're completely remote. So like the people we hire here in the UK to work on UK projects when we can't find all the people we need locally, they're from the US, and we're not going to pay for a flight for them to come and just shake everybody's hand. It's all going remotely. And when it's remote, the beautiful thing is, like now I live in a small English town. Remote work means you can earn big city salaries and live in a small place where everything just costs less. That's exactly what I do. It's a wonderful way to be. It means that you have a lot of financial security and safety. Changes your day-to-day life, But let's talk about a little bit about the gold rush around this expertise thing and some news that came out this week. So here in the UK, there's a couple of hospitals down near Cheshire. And if you follow the news like I do, which you may not yet, you've seen that these two trusts in Cheshire rolled out a new EPR system and their productivity crashed. Now, I've seen this new EPR system. It's fantastic. It works really, really well. But somehow in these two hospitals in Cheshire, the clinical staff are struggling because whoever put the system together clearly had never worked a shift. That's your opportunity. So every time there's a productivity struggle, every time there's a clunky system, every time that it doesn't work in real life, that's a job opening for clinical professionals who understand healthcare realities. So just think about that. They don't get it right without you. They really can't function without you. So it's getting a little bit of knowledge, positioning yourself correctly, and then being in the place to not only earn that much money, but make that much of a difference at, for instance, those two hospitals that are struggling now. Health tech companies can build incredible algorithms and great looking systems and whiz-bang stuff that does well in a conference room, but they can't replace 10 years of clinical experience. They can't teach someone to recognize when a system recommendation could harm a patient or just foul up everyone's day. Your clinical pattern recognition is now built into you. It's like in your bones. You already understand disease progression, workflow integration, patient safety. The exact expertise that makes digital health and AI work in real life, in real healthcare. So this company I mentioned before, Daedalus, is a perfect example. They're not a startup, they're established, they're growing, and they need clinical minds. There are dozens of companies out there just like them, and they're competing with them. In my blog this week, I talk about multiple income streams, so that if one job goes away, you're not really all that concerned. You'll replace that in a little bit because you have other income streams going. So in digital health, working for yourself, working as a freelancer, that sort of thing, you go beyond a base salary mentality. That double salary, that my new client is getting, that's just the beginning. My other clients are earning $80 to $175 an hour consulting in North America, and 500 to 750 pounds a day in the UK. And that's because in the US we get paid by the hour, but in the UK and most other places you kind of get paid by the day. That's a lot more common. Um, Also, you don't have to think about just the work that you're there physically doing. There's other sources of income within digital health. Speaking gigs, advisory positions where you join a board. Like if you're watching me on LinkedIn this last week, you see that I joined a board and we had our first official board meeting, and it's all about digital health and AI and those kinds of things. That's another source of income. Retainerships are another source of income. So there's another company that engages with me, and they pay me a fixed amount of time every week to have constant access to me once a week. And sometimes they don't use that time. Other times they use that time plus a bit more, and I send them the bill for the bit more. So when you combine base salary, consulting, speaking, advising, retainerships, all the rest of that stuff, you get a total compensation that transforms your whole family's financial future. It's not just about making more money, it's about what that actually means, what that does for you, right? So how do you get there? What do you do? Here's what you actually need to learn. The secret is you don't need to become a programmer. You don't, in the same way you don't have to be a mechanical engineer in order to drive a car, you don't need to be a programmer in order to work in digital health. You just need to learn enough digital health and AI concepts to translate between the clinical, which you already know, and the technical, which you get the easy part of. Um, yeah, so don't think that it's actually harder than it is. The technical stuff, I always like to say, is easier to learn than blood gas analysis. And the clinical stuff that you do, yeah, don't think this is cutting edge clinical stuff. This isn't that new research that came out last month or last week and we got to change everything and, dive into the data. No, none of that stuff. It's paradigms. It's clinical paradigms. It's really simple stuff. At first, in fact, you'll probably have a hard time bringing your brain down so that you can explain it to someone who isn't a patient and who needs to make business decisions based on plain old clinical concepts, like a sterile field, that kind of thing. Not cutting edge stuff in technology, not cutting edge stuff in clinicals. So that woman that I mentioned earlier in the live that started Daedalus this week, well, 6 months ago she was feeling trapped in her nursing job. Today she's earning double what bedside nurses make here in the UK. She's working regular hours and she's going to be fully remote as of next week. And she's using her clinical knowledge to improve the systems there. She's doing it right now. It's happening. It's not a theory. It's reality. And I was able to coach her into all of that, give her all of the information she needed. And then there's the network effect. Digital health is a small world. My colleague she met on day one, that's the power of community. Digital healthers supporting each other in digital health. And if you'd never heard of digital health before before these kinds of things, go check it out on the internet. Like go look up HIMSS.org. That's the nonprofit international group of digital healthers. There's plenty of stuff out there. You'll see that the ocean is actually deep and wide, and that what I do in my coaching service is really teach people how to swim in it, right? So they don't drown jumping in, kind of like I did when I was first starting. But there is a window here, right? Companies like Daedalus are actively recruiting clinical professionals, so it's not just Daedalus. Go find your favorite AI agent and tell them to go look for other companies like Daedalus. The demand is real, the salaries are real, and the remote opportunities are real. So you need to decide on your next move. So if you're tired of being undervalued financially, and you want to use your clinical expertise in ways that actually pay you your real worth, this is the time. This is your moment. I've got a free resource on my website, rodgamble.com, which if I move my head just the right way, you'll be able to see all of that. rodgamble.com up at the top of the screen. And please DM me if you want to know more about companies like Daedalus, or if you're trying to explore ways that your clinical expertise could earn you money in digital health, how to switch, how to tap into this. Um, on my website is an article on everything that I've been talking about today. It goes into a little bit more depth, except for the happenings that happened this week. I had to sprinkle that in for my live. And I'll say thanks for joining tonight. And next week, I'm going to dive deeper into how all of the, this new AI stuff, this digital health stuff that's washing over healthcare right now. Yeah, it's a deja vu moment for people like me. We've seen it before. We know what's happening. We can see the opportunity. There is nothing new to see here. We'll be covering that. That's it from me. Unless there are any questions from people who have joined, feel free to go ahead and send those over on the chat. If you have a question that you don't want to put in front of other people, just DM me, and I'll be happy to talk to you about things, even if you think you fear it might be impolitic, that sort of thing. So it is dinner time here in England, and I wish everyone a good night or a good afternoon, depending on what day it is. See everyone next week.